Welcome to Waypoint, a podcast exclusively for people who have seen the Moon Knight trailer. Looks pretty good, right? Like, I thought it would look pretty good.
Oh, it looked great.
I mean, it's Oscar Isaac, so I'm in.
Yeah, it's tortured Oscar Isaac, like, in an Egyptian-inspired setting, which is like 3 check marks on my list. Either way, I'm Julian. I'm the game master.
I'm Sanya and I play Charlotte.
I'm Vio and I play Moon, and I have not seen the trailer yet, so I will remove myself from this podcast now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you can play in it, you just can't listen.
Okay.
Until you've watched it.
I mean,
True.
I think I can manage that.
Yeah. By the way, I'm Mimi and I play Max.
We're back after last episode where our heroes met with the local, in quotation marks, hero excavator who they invited into their base and had a little chat with about their common acquaintance, Locksmith, who disappeared, and you heard about a ransom note and all that, and you made a deal, or basically like a promise with Excavator that you'd basically invite their team over, or that Excavator would bring her team to talk to you and to solve this thing together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, before the team arrives, because that's going to be a couple of minutes, do you just want to skip to them arriving, or do you want to do some investigating beforehand?
I
would like to do something.
All right.
I was just going to ask if Excavator is still insisting on keeping her metal head.
Yes.
She's just a metal
Absolutely.
head. Okay.
For as long as you're there. Excavator will insist on having a metal head. What is Charlotte planning to do?
Well, I want to have a look at the note and see if I can find some kind of clue. You know, maybe there's a hint in the ink or how they write or something like that.
Does speed reading help you with analyzing something very quickly?
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say it gives you like a numerical bonus, but you can definitely, if you roll well, flavor it as such. What I will say is you don't have the best version of the ransom note available. You basically just have this photocopy, but Excavator will have told you that they're going to bring the note with them when they come over.
Okay.
So you'll get to do a better analysis then. The way you have it right now, what you can see is basically what I described last time. It's clearly a Monopoly card with like an original text on it and other text written onto it. It's not like a newspaper cutout sort of thing. So it is handwriting of some sort. And yeah, the message was formulated was written slightly cryptically with this whole "we threw away the key to the lock" thing. So you can draw from that what you will.
Okay.
I really wish I had one of the star moves right now.
Which one?
The Gossip Max. When you tap into the gossip and rumor of the celebrity industry for information on an important city figure, roll plus superior. On a hit, you can ask the GM questions. One of the questions is literally, where and when can I find them?
I mean, that is about celebrities, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still think you could probably frame it in a way if it's like a villain known to some people in the public that just sort of pooling in with the fans and finding, for example, a villain that sort of has this card game or board game theme going on.
I think that's something that you don't necessarily need a role, need like a special move for. Finding out if a villain like that exists is something that I'd say you can just do usually. Like, it's of course better if you have like access to like some special knowledge base, like the SOS databases.
Or if my ship was here, who could?
Yeah, or if your ship was here, which specifically does that. Yeah, or alternatively though, like it's Waypoint, you can Google. You can definitely just Google stuff to figure out, you know, hey, there's like Waypoint supervillain playing card theme.
Yeah.
Like, that's for sure something that will drop, like, a news article or something.
Yeah, I just think it's still useful because the questions are very different from the ones we have, for example, for Pierce the Mask.
True.
Yeah.
So you can definitely look it up if you want to.
Yeah, I would definitely try to do that.
Okay, so what you figure out is, you know, playing card theme, that's that's not the most original. Like, you don't find anyone with like a specific Monopoly playing card theme, but there used to be a supervillain like back in the 80s who had a playing card theme, but like not these kinds of cards, like the classic poker set with like his henchmen were like jokers and kings and queens and all of that, flavored after that.
That villain was definitely asexual.
For sure. What you don't find is someone who has like a board game MO or something like that. Like, if that exists, they must be new enough on the scene that you don't find any recorded history of them.
Okay.
I would also like to, further investigate my last theory that it could be corrupt superheroes.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, I would quickly run to that office we were
Okay, yeah.
and ask if anyone else has, in the last few days, had some kind of question about Riverside.
Yeah, you can do that. I just want to ask really quickly, do you run off without telling them that you're doing that? Or do you tell them in advance?
No, I tell them that I will go to that office and ask if someone has asked about Riverside.
Max, she told us before she ran off. That's progress, right? Now it only has to happen in a time-critical, under-pressure situation, and then I'll be happy.
You make your way back to the Office of Superhero Affairs, and there's a secretary sitting at the front who looks at you like slightly baffled as you super speed in, but quickly gathers themselves and says, superhero.
What gave it away?
Yes, I'm Starbolt, and I would just like to ask you a question, if that's okay.
You get the same reaction you get almost every time you say I'm Starbolt, which is like mild confusion, but then people just settling in on it. And the secretary shakes their head a little, just like slightly confused, before like going back to you. All right, what do you have a question about?
I just wanted to know if there was someone in the last few days, maybe up to like 2 weeks or something, who has asked about Riverside.
Let me check. Riverside. I mean, asked about it. Anything more specific than that?
Maybe they asked about if there are already superheroes there.
We have a few just general checkups here, super teams that want to get settled in and that ask around like where are places available in the city.
Yes.
Riverside only very recently got a super team. Actually, just yesterday. Looks through the files. You guys, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's me and my team. Yes. So there was no one else there.
No one who asked around here, but I don't know who would ask something like that unless they... I mean, there's been a few situations in Riverside that have required superheroic intervention, but that happened from people outside.
Okay, could you tell me about that?
There was a chemical spill about a week ago. No one died or got superpowers, but someone had to deal with it. It was like slight radiation leaks from like coolant that... Long story short, the SOS sent someone who is able to like absorb nuclear energy to like stop the whole thing from becoming a catastrophe.
And who did they send?
Dr. Supergirl is his name.
Okay.
He's, I think, their resident psychiatrist, but he also can absorb nuclear power.
Yes. Was there any other incident I should know about?
Nothing of bigger importance, really. There were a few... The secretary types a little bit more and looks stuff up. A few just, general crime cases. Stolen cars, smashed windows, stuff like that.
Were there any perpetrators taken into custody?
From what I can see, it was dealt with.
What does that mean?
I mean, someone was sent and dealt with it.
And
that's ominous.
The Firehawks were sent because that was like in the southern area, and the SOS sent a few people for these three things. Those happened in the north.
And who did the SOS send?
Is that important?
It might be.
All right. So they send, let's see. They send the Irishman. They send the Optic Man. They send a Radiator Kid. And Black Hawk.
Are you just making them up on the spot, or do you have a list?
I have a list. That doesn't mean that I didn't make them up on the spot.
It just means they get added to the list.
Yeah.
Okay, just one more question. Could you tell me which superheroes are in the Firehawks team?
I can just print you out a list. That's
would be
publicly
great.
available information.
That would be great, thank you.
The secretary does just that and give you a list.
Okay.
Anyone we would recognize? Are any of the 4 people we know on that list?
The list does not feature the superhero names you've heard so far.
Damn it. Okay, so the only one we know is Dr. Supergirl.
That's the only one you've met before who has done something bigger, like superhero level
Yeah.
in Riverside.
So I will tell the others about what I found out. There was a chemical spill a week ago.
You didn't bring me a hot dog? Oh, Charlotte, come on.
I'm sorry, we do not have time for that. We can get a hot dog when we have saved Gail.
But
Is that a deal?
an empty stomach makes for bad thinking and bad saving. And I mean, for you, it's like a minute. That's not a sign of a good leader. A leader has to take care of her team.
Listen, people's lives are at stake. We can't spare any second. We have a very tight schedule right
Moon
now.
says while grabbing another piece of chip.
Actually, just as you talk about how you don't have much time left, the door rings.
Max goes to open it, but takes excavator with her.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way over there, and yeah, also you don't hear steps from anywhere else in the building. It appears that Enoch is either busy with something else or not home right now, because he also didn't barge in on the whole conversation earlier. You make your way to the door, and as you open it, behind the door, there's a group of 2 people, which are 2 men in suits.
Okay.
One of them is a man who wears basically a suit jacket over a hoodie, and the other one is just a man in a very traditional suit who has a paper bag over his head with 2 eye holes cut out of them, out of the paper bag.
That's an interesting costume choice. So,
And,
of all of that, you thought them wearing suits was the important first impression we were getting.
That was the first thing I thought of when I thought of how did I make these guys look again? Excavator immediately recognizes them and says, well, here they are. That's salesman and the manager.
Vibe check.
You can actually get into their minds.
Okay.
They are not made of metal. Despite the powerful paper bag, you do manage to get through to the person underneath it.
Just quick vibe check,
And-
like, are they suspicious? Are they angry? Are they relaxed? Just what's the mood I could get from if Moon were able to read body language? Just
I
with
mean, the
my
thing you
thing.
immediately
So-
get from them is just they're not like chill right now. They seem to be pretty unnerved by this whole situation. You also quickly figure out that the guy with the paper head is the manager and that the other one is salesman.
Okay.
And yeah, they both step in and make their way like awkwardly over to the snack area. The manager actually takes off his suit jacket and looks for any place to hang it up.
Do we have? I guess you can hang it on the back of a chair or something. We should
I mean,
get
there's probably like hooks around the door somewhere that you can hang that stuff up on.
Yeah.
He's just gonna put it somewhere and let you lead him over.
Charlotte, Max, just for the moment, maybe don't tell them what I can do just yet. And she shoots a very irritated thought towards Excavator. Unlike some people, other people can be polite about this.
You can tell that Max is surprised that Moon wants to hide something.
You also get that Moon is still super frustrated with Excavator's immunity.
The manager sits down first and looks around at the people at the table with him And only like after a nod from him, does salesman also sit down.
Moon waves.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope nothing has happened to you yet, and yeah, we're on the case to find Gale.
Not yet at least.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm Starbolt, by the way.
Yeah, Excavator mentioned that on the phone. So, cool, Starbolt. So, you met Locksmith yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. What did you talk about? What did Locksmith talk about with you?
Well, she told us that she wanted to be a superhero and that you're responsible for Riverside and that you're trying to take care of people and help people. And yeah, we just wanted to help you do that.
Salesman leans forward a little. He has like slightly messy blonde hair and basically looks up at Charlotte, looking her in the eye specifically, and says, "That's a bit of a weird story because she disappeared right after that. Is that actually what happened?" And Charlotte, you kind of feel like you really want to tell him the truth.
Vibe check.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, of course. I promise we didn't kidnap Charlotte. Sorry. Wrong name. She told us that there are some problems and that, we wanted to help her with that, but we didn't kidnap her.
Moon, you get the vibe that Charlotte really wants to tell the truth right now.
Does it feel weird in any way or just very natural? I guess...
What do you mean? That's the question. Like, how do you determine that?
Yeah, Sunny, I think that what I know of Charlotte, she would have told the truth anyway and would have wanted to tell the truth anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't...
Yes.
I will retract my vibe check. I don't think Moon will notice. Would notice, just Charlotte being Charlotte.
A salesman nods slowly and says, "Yeah, I think they're telling the truth." And the manager like nods slightly. There's like a crankling sound from the paper bag. All right. Good. Then we really are working together from the looks of it. So you're a licensed team then?
Yes, we are.
Interesting. I didn't think we had a licensed team here like a long time ago, like before I went into this business altogether. But since the supervillains kind of moved out of the area, there hasn't been a lot going on.
Well, at least that.
Charlotte,
Yes.
Charlotte, what was the thing about being short on time again? If we have time for this nonsense, we have time for a hot dog.
I shoot a thought to Moon. We are trying to get information right now. We do not have time for a hot dog.
I could eat a hot dog while you ask them stuff.
So no supervillains here, but is there like organized crime or anything?
I mean, yeah, organized crime always, but usually what we have in this area are like the outstretched fingers of organized crime. The area has lost a lot of, let's say, prestige in the last couple of decades, and being a big, flashy costume supervillain isn't a cheap thing, and people who have a lot of money don't live here anymore. So usually what we get are like, just street gangs that are like 5 or 6 people, and in terms of organized crime, like the edge of a mafia family, maybe.
Anything that could be a big target for like the big organizations?
I wouldn't know of anything. That's why this whole kidnapping thing, this whole trying to muscle us out of the area thing is really weird. Like, I don't see what we would be a threat to. The only thing I can think of is maybe, I don't know, people who don't want to pay their due anymore or something like that.
Charlotte, maybe the original note can tell us something more?
Yeah, I ask for the real note.
Ah, yes. He puts his hand into like the pocket of his shirt and pulls out a small plastic bag and hands it over to you. Now that you can turn it around, you see that it's one of the cards with a question mark on the back, not one with a treasure chest on the back. And yeah, It's the same note. What you can also see is that the text was written on it, because the last one you saw was black and white. What you can now see is that the text was written in blue ink onto the card.
So what exactly did you mean by pay their due?
Well, we're not one of the official teams. We're not licensed, so we kind of live off of community donations.
Extortion, I think he means. Does he mean that?
Are those donations voluntary?
I mean, they're voluntary by anyone who wants to be protected by us. If you don't pay them, we're a service, and we're not funded by the government, so we fund ourselves off of community donations.
You rejected recently, or is somehow indebted to you?
I mean, there's always one or two of those. Like, yeah, there were a couple robberies in the recent history that were done on people who weren't under our protection, but that's just basically something that happens, and usually it's more of a, I don't know, it feels terrible to say this, but usually it's kind of a promotional tool for us, because it shows people how important our work is. And, we don't ask for that much.
Okay, so you don't think it's someone from the community?
I don't think so, because you can just stop paying us. We're not the fucking mafia. We're not gonna run into your house and smash your pots or whatever.
Charlotte, do you want to tell them what you found out?
Yeah, of course. So I heard there was a chemical spill last week.
Yeah, I only heard about that, on the edge of it. It was in the industrial part. Slightly up north. Do you know
if there's someone involved there?
From what I can tell, it was just a workplace accident. I don't know if anyone was involved in that. It wasn't the first time. They had to empty out the building. This happens a few times here. Sometimes bomb threats, that kind of stuff. That's the only way I heard about it, because they emptied out the building. We showed up to see if anything was going on, but by the time we came there, it was basically done already. And then 2 days later, the SOS showed up.
2 days later?
Well, it's outside of their jurisdiction. That's why a team like ours has become kind of relevant here.
Okay. Were there workers who were, angry about that?
I mean, mainly the bosses, because they couldn't open up again for a couple days.
Okay.
Now I have a question, and Moon directs that at the boss.
Mm-hmm.
When we met Gail yesterday, she was very concerned about introducing us to you guys without talking to you first. Why is that?
Telepath.
Hi, Moon waves.
Well, he waves back. Well, we're a little bit, let's say we like to be secretive about where our hideout is. We're not the SOS, we don't have missile defense systems. So if a local gang gets pissed at us for stopping them, we don't want them coming to our hideout and shooting it up.
Max, Charlotte, should we do that too? I mean, we have an open...
Shoot it up?
No! Not advertising our home base with open drawer things.
Well, it's kind of too late for that.
I think it probably makes more sense to get a defense system in the future.
Oh, I can rig something up. But what I wanted to know, when we left, I got the feeling that, I don't know, Julian, did I assumed, because I view know what happened afterwards, but did Moon get a feeling that that Gail was going to go straight to her team, or more I have to do this sometime this evening? Did I get any sense of urgency or planning or something like that?
I mean, I assume that the vibe you got was definitely, I'm gonna deal with this today so we can meet tomorrow. So,
okay.
Some degree of urgency, for sure.
Well, when we last saw Gail, she said she wanted to introduce us, I guess, to you guys, to show us the ropes about how to actually help people here in Riverside. And I got the feeling that she wanted to go straight to you guys. So maybe, I know you don't want anyone to know where your hideout is, but I think this is a bit more important than that. Maybe if we travel the route between here and your hideout, we can see if there are any clues about where Gail was kidnapped. Or maybe at her home or something like that. I mean, it had to have been somewhere. Unless you've already...
You have a point there.
Does anyone else know about your hideout except for you four?
We try our best that that doesn't happen. As far as I know, only the four of us know that that's our hideout. You also might be noticing that we are like more of an incognito super team. We don't like to advertise ourselves with big costumes for exactly that reason.
Yeah. Very interesting choice of costume. A paper bag.
I'm not really a field person. I direct stuff from the base. I don't have any superpowers.
Okay.
I just manage. That's why I'm the manager.
Then, okay, that's interesting, I guess. But the note, was it delivered to your hideout? If so, then we can assume that whoever sent it knows that you guys are there. So that should be a clue.
That's why, we didn't want to... We were thinking very hard about if we were supposed to do this, if we should meet up with you about this entire thing. Because apparently our hideout is known now.
And we have to find out how. So
they might have an eye on the hideout right now.
Yes. It's just he puts his hands in his lap and looks down as far as you can see with the paper bag and says, "It's just one of our own was kidnapped and we have no idea by whom. And our base is important. Like, if we don't have our base, we basically don't operate. That's where all of our shit is. But saving the life of one of our teammates is much more important than that."
But why? Another question I have is, if you don't have any superpowers and you are the manager, you would be a much more obvious choice to get kidnapped. Why did they choose Gale? I mean, her powers are pretty much exactly the kind of thing that makes it very hard to hold someone.
Yeah. This is the first time I left the base in like 2 weeks. I barely go out. So I'm not the easiest target if you don't want to topple our base.
How are your defenses? Like, is it mostly secrecy or do you have some stuff to keep you safe there?
We have a security system. That's essentially what it comes down to. Again, we don't have missile defenses. We have an alarm that goes beep if someone goes in.
Do you have copies of the security system?
I'm in the base.
Do you have any security
I don't have
cameras?
it with me.
Okay.
We have security cameras. He pulls his phone from his pocket. Like, I can watch them. I get an alert if anything happens. So I'm pretty certain that currently it's safe.
I think the best way to go is to go to your hideout right now, to be honest.
Yeah, but maybe Charlotte should just check out the general area before that.
I mean, I can definitely do that,
like,
of course.
Find clues, or maybe if someone suspicious is lurking around.
Yes, definitely, I can do that.
If your theory is correct that they figured out where our base is and intercepted Locksmith on the way there, then it might be smart to follow this exact path, because that seems like the missing bit of information we didn't have yet. We did check our base. We did check around the base.
Okay.
If that interception happened somewhere there, maybe we'll find it on the road.
Okay, if you tell me where your hideout is, if that's okay for you, I will gladly look around the area and see if I find someone or something.
Ooh, scouting.
If that's all right with you, I'd prefer it if we accompanied you there. I know super speed and all of that, pretty useful, but...
Yes, of course. Just maybe if we're getting close to your hideout, I should look around before you're coming in.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if you get attacked, I would like for us to be there.
It would be very nice for our team pool if we didn't constantly had to check the "you are ill prepared and off balance" thing with a yes.
He basically like extends his arms to the side and says, "I do have my team. Like they've protected me so far."
What can you do exactly? I mean, I know what Excavator can do. And use it
again. I don't have superpowers.
What about you, salesman?
I can be pretty convincing.
Wow.
A lot of the time, that's enough to solve a conflict.
Okay. Not as flashy as some stuff.
So is it like mind control?
It's not really mind control. It's just, I can be pretty convincing.
As interesting as this is, we really don't have the time.
Okay, Let's go.
You also, like, Moon and Charlotte, you do kind of feel now that is a pretty good superpower. Like, you feel kind of convinced by that.
Okay.
And yeah, you take off back to the well-known, twice destroyed alleyway.
If we ever make it as big superheroes, this will be like a place where they will put a memorial to us.
If this was one of the more slightly cartoony comics, you would see like the paper bag mask pull up an eyebrow.
Oh,
as you come across this scenario.
Maybe we should. Hey guys, maybe we should get all the like destroyed piping and make like a piece of art out of it or something. It could sell for like a lot of money if we ever make it big. Our first destroyed property.
That is putting the cart before the road. Like you're so far away from the horse even at this point.
The horse is not even born yet.
This is the first time that Moon feels that Max is ignoring them.
And Excavator's still ignoring me too. Pay attention to me.
You arrive at the alleyway and the other team looks around and says, well, I know which the other team looks around and says, Salesman ultimately says, well, I think the fastest way to our base would be this way, and points in one side of the like intersecting alleyway. We also basically all live at our hideout, so
that's convenient.
That's also where she lives. So
that's very convenient.
Either way, this would be the direction.
Okay, I guess then we walk into that direction.
Okay, I'm gonna say whoever wishes to. I'm gonna say one person. Let's say because you wanted to look around really quickly and all of that, I'm gonna leave that to Charlotte. Give me an assess the situation would be the thing.
Could we say that? Do we have team when we're not in a fight? I don't think so.
You do have team. You always have that base team pool.
Oh, okay. Then I would say that us helping, like, if Charlotte finds anything, like us looking around, could maybe count as helping.
I'm looking just right now if there's even like any questions you could ask with this that would make a lot of sense. Nah, I don't think you have to actually roll anything for that.
Okay.
Like, this is more of a you just look around and you can see what you can find, I think.
Okay, yeah, then I just run around and I also, look on the roofs and stuff like that.
You could
look through windows if there's, someone there with a binoculars or something like that.
Maybe you could make the argument that it counts as an unleash your powers because of the trapping of extend your senses. And Charlotte using her super speed to cover a lot of ground could argue.
It could be, but I don't actually think this really needs a roll. I'm gonna say
I don't know why I'm arguing.
Guys...
It just means that we're probably gonna we can't fail a roll that doesn't happen. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
But it's
you walk through the area. You run around and look on buildings, around buildings, in alleyways, and all of that. And it rained last night, so like. I don't know. You're in the middle of a city. You wouldn't be able to like follow footsteps or anything like that either way. But it also rained, so any evidence that would have been there has been washed away. But so you basically just assume which way which way you should probably take, which way Locksmith took last night. But you also don't come across any people like observing you or like observing the building or all of that. And it takes, you basically make it all the way to the end of one of the alleyways where you come across basically like this big garage door made of like sheet metal that the other team walks up to, and you could see a small keypad to the side of it, and the other ones look at like the manager with like raised eyebrows like, come on, do it. And he walks over to the keypad and like angles himself so you can't see what he's typing.
I can see in his mind. I can see everything.
Yes.
I purposely turn away.
I don't.
You can see in his mind what he's typing. I don't know. We can do. He doesn't openly reveal that information at least, but you can probe if you want to. But he types the information in. And the garage door basically like slowly opens. It gets stuck slightly in the middle, and he has to push it up with his hand. but it ultimately rolls completely up, and behind it is a garage.
Woo!
And
Dun, dun, dun.
inside of the garage are like a few tables. You can see like a TV somewhere in the back. You see like a few bean bags. Apparently someone also read a book on how to be a good boss, just like Charlotte. And he like does a wave into the room and says, "Welcome to the hideout of the Meta-Human Union."
Wow. Moon is thoroughly unimpressed.
Well, we're low budget. He walks into the garage and takes a seat on one of the bean bags and waves all of you to come in as well.
So we didn't notice anything on the way. So what does that mean? Does Locksmith, do her powers leave any kind of trace? Anything like an energy signature? I don't know, some crumbling dust when the wall disappears or something. Anything that could give us information about where she was or what she was doing.
Nothing too clear. We also couldn't find anything on the security cameras. So she probably didn't make it here.
Can I have a look at that?
I mean, you can. I don't see a lot of hope in it. He pulls over a laptop and folds it open and hands it to you. It's actually still opened to the security camera footage of the last night.
When did the card show up?
That was this morning. We noticed it at around 8, but it might have been there earlier. It was pushed under the garage door.
And that didn't show up on the security cam either.
Actually, now that you mention it, no, that also didn't show up.
Moon shoots a thought towards Max and Charlotte. Wow, proper investigators here. A card shows up, but no one is on the tape. I didn't even look.
I shoot a thought to Moon and say, be nice.
I'm grumpy when I'm hungry. I need a Snickers. I'm not myself when I'm hungry.
They just looked through it really quickly to find Locksmith, essentially, to see if she made it to the door. They were very worried about their teammate and didn't think all too clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think checking out the footage from this morning is probably the most sensible thing.
I was just thinking if I could use my alien tech to find something, but I don't think I can alter a device to show something that isn't there. But I would like.
I mean,
to...
potentially, like if you figure out what the issue might be with the footage, maybe you can do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if I watch the footage with the knowledge that Moon is from a different planet and has some knowledge about technology and stuff. Do I notice anything that seems unusual, or like there could be something tampering with the camera or something like that? And if yes, then I would say, then I would assume that investigating that would be a role.
Yeah, the question is how much time you would want to take for that, because like you're probably gonna want to look through a couple of hours, and I'm gonna say that you have probably less luck of seeing something important if you speed it up. Then again, Charlotte could probably do it, right? Like, I think speed viewing and speed reading are basically the same thing.
Knowledge.
That's
but
true.
If you can see if you notice anything, it would be good as a first pass, I guess.
I mean, I can speed look through it.
Yeah,
if
you can
want.
do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if you speed look through it, you do notice something, because you actually basically have a lot more time than anyone else who studied the footage so far.
Yeah.
And a thing you do notice is that there is like there's like basically a street cat that walks into frame at some point of the footage and like walks up to the door and meows once and then walks out of frame again. And something that you notice is this exact thing, exactly identical, happens twice.
Oh. A mistake in the Matrix.
You notice that it happens once around midnight and that it happens once around 10 p.m.
Okay, then I will immediately show those two clips to Moon.
Do I get the sense that now I would like to investigate this in depth? I assume it's going to be either illusion or just someone looping the footage over something that actually happens. And it's sad that illusion was my first thought and not the second one.
I mean, what you immediately notice when you look at it, I think, because you have a lot more experience with tech, is that this is definitely repeated footage. Okay. You also notice, like, now that you're aware of it, that the rain falls the same in both of these versions of the footage. That becomes clear to you pretty quickly.
Okay.
So someone has tampered with that.
Who has access to this? Just anyone? It's just sitting around here in your hideout?
It's right over the front gate. So the only one who has footage, like, editing it are our computers.
The front...
Yes, that's what I thought.
Can I have a look at the camera?
Sure.
So... I don't know which order you want to do this, but I would like to investigate the footage for any clues how it was done. But I think the first step would be to look at the camera itself, because if it's pointed downwards towards the thing, then someone could just access it from the roof without having to be in frame.
Yeah, at this point I'm going to say I'll call that an unleash your powers with your alien tech.
Okay. Rolling.
Oh, wait, what about your special move with alien powers? What was that one again?
No, that's alien tech. It's specifically when you alter a human device with your alien technology. I don't think... You
could alter the human device with your alien technology to, like... You know, it's a superhero comic. You could just say, oh, I'll hack the footage correct again.
Yeah, you know what? Moon, you know what?
It says it can do something that is beyond possibility.
Something impossible.
So that is definitely, that is definitely something impossible that you can do with alien tech.
We could just say that I have like a diagnostic tool or something that I use for my ship that it's on me that I can use to access the camera and the laptop to see if there's anything that a diagnostics program from space and very advanced aliens could pick up.
Yeah, you just turn the computer basically to console mode and type a few things, and then like green streams of letters flow down the screen.
Yeah, and Moon does some quick
and
typing.
And stuff suddenly starts working.
Yeah, that is a 6 that I rolled, but I have a 1 in Freak, so it's a 7. So we're good.
It's a 7, okay.
Very barely,
what does your move do on neutral again?
Basically, it just works. If it's above a 10, I can add stuff, but if it's below a 6, it has an unintended side effect.
Okay, so you get to hack the video footage correct again?
Yay! Oh, I see. This is where the they didn't cancel. Yes, I can. Here's a temporary.
What you notice is this appears to be some sort of like the footage was altered, but in a really weird way. Like you don't see anything that would have done that on a software level. Oh. Like from what you see, the camera actually just filmed what it was seeing, and nobody like looped anything into it. But something you notice pretty quickly is that there appears to be something wrong with the computer itself. Like when you look through it, like something you notice is when you shift it around, you look at the material underneath the footage that you can see, you notice that the footage is actually correct. Just what you're seeing is wrong. The problem isn't the problem with the video footage, it's with the computer.
So the display is showing something different than the file.
Yes. Which is really weird to you, because you don't see any technical reason why someone would do it like this.
This is very unnecessarily complicated. They put an illusion over the display?
That's basically what you get. Yeah, that's the vibe that you get.
Can I transfer that to my to the screen of my diagnostic thing and watch it there?
Sure. Yeah.
What do I see?
You can.
Is it still there?
What you see is no, it's not there anymore. Now the footage works correctly. What you see is you see Gale. You see Gale arriving shortly before midnight, making her way to the entrance of the garage and knocking on it, and actually knocking on it like a couple times for about half an hour, trying to get in. Like she also tries to guess the code at some point, and it doesn't work. And ultimately you see Gale looking away from the garage door and looking at someone just out of the viewfinder of the camera. And you see that Gale does a few movements, which right next to you, Excavator quickly tells you, oh yeah, she's putting up a wall. And you see that she gets terrified pretty quickly as something does manage to move up to her. And that's something you can only see from the back. But from what you can see, it seems to be someone dressed in black with a top hat.
It's the Monopoly guy.
Monopoly man.
Who walks up to Gale and basically with a few quick moves, like actual like fighting moves, subdues her, and carries her off while she screams.
Oh, shit.
Oh, and also drops the card.
One thing, I just...
Question, you guys, why... I thought you lived here. How didn't you... She was banging on the door for half an hour. How couldn't you hear her?
Moon.
I don't know. We were there.
I
We were there the entire time. We couldn't hear her banging. We couldn't hear her screaming.
Oh, damn it. This destroys my
Oh, guys. I think the person has illusion powers. He put an illusion over the laptop screen. And I think that's... I mean, how else could you not... Moon raps on the sheet metal experimentally. I assume it rattles a whole lot.
Yeah, it's super loud.
I mean, I guess that's the only way. If they can alter what we see, they can probably alter what we hear as well.
Do these illusions work for a long time after the person is gone?
I mean, at least 24 hours, I guess.
He did give us 24 hours, whoever that is. Maybe that's when the whole thing would blow out anyways, right?
I guess. I mean, honestly, so I don't get any sense of, like, how this would work scientifically speaking.
Yeah, you don't have a technical explanation for this.
Okay.
Because the computer otherwise seems to work perfectly normally.
Okay, so, guys, I think this is magic stuff, and magic stuff is not something that I'm super familiar with.
It's also not something that you get in Waypoint a lot. Long story, but there's a superhero team here that actively fights magic users, and they're usually pretty good at locating them.
Why?
What team is that?
I think at least Max will definitely have heard of them, because they have kind of like a bad name, and are the reason why like magic users tend to not visit Waypoint a lot.
But I want to meet Will here.
Because this team is like an actual problem. They're called the Witchfinders.
Of course they are.
And they're like a team specialized in fighting magical threats. And they're effective enough that magical people usually just stay out of Waypoint.
Great, now I'm just imagining Shadwell in a superhero team.
That was my first.
They for sure wear these like witch hunter hats. At least one of them. Absolutely.
Okay, so someone abducted Gail. Excavator, you said she put up a wall, but she just walks up to her. How? I've seen those walls. I've almost ran into one of those walls. Those are...
I don't have an answer for this. Like, I don't know.
Is her power also like more magic based or more weird science loophole in physics based?
Not that I know of. Like, we haven't really studied Gale or anything like that, right? It's just I never thought it was something like that. But I don't know how whoever that is did it.
How much time do we have left?
The manager looks at his fake Rolex on his arm. It's around 10 hours.
So we have 10 hours to find an illusionist who just walked right through a wall by Locksmith herself, subdued her, and manages right now to keep her somewhere where she can't escape with her powers. Guys, I don't know where we even start.
Yeah, where do we start, leader?
Well, I think we have to talk to the Witchfinders.
Just as you have that thought, Charlotte, your phone rings.
Oh, okay.
Your phone rings, and what you can see on the phone is you get a call from the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs.
Okay, I will answer the phone.
Hey, you were asking us about weird stuff going on in Riverside, right? That would need superhero intervention?
Yes.
We just got a call in that was delivered to the SOS. They're going to be sending someone in the near future. At the north end of Riverside, in the industrial district, apparently there's been a bomb threat in a factory. Apparently that wasn't just now. We just now got the news in. That was like a couple of hours ago. They're emptying out the entire building. With you being the new superheroes here, might be interesting for you.
Thank you so much for that information.
Specifics.
We will check it out.
Specifics.
And if you have any more information, please just let me know.
I can give you the address and
Yes,
what
please.
factory, what kind of factory is this? They're like, they make board games.
Oh!
It's Upper Knight Rider 15.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's not
Glad
even...
to help. And the call ends.
We are gonna fight
Okay,
the Monopoly
I say
Man. We are gonna
okay.
fight the Monopoly Man. We are gonna punch his head off.
Okay, I tell the others, I just got a call, and apparently there was a bomb threat at a factory that makes board games. I think we should check it out.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, you find there relatively easily, and I think it's not that hard to convince the other team to go there with you
Yeah.
in this situation. Yeah, you make your way there. The manager has a car, so the ones of you who don't have super speed can drive.
Oh, we don't have to take the bus.
We do-
That's cool.
Yeah, we don't have. That's funny because taking the bus is somewhat of a theme in my role playing games.
I mean, you took the bus to Riverside.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you make your way to the factory, and by the time you get there, the bomb threat was called a couple hours earlier. The workers aren't there anymore. Apparently, they just went home for the day while they're waiting for, like, a superhero team to show up and deal with it. Which, at this point, is still... Everybody thinks it's the SOS, because it's not really gotten around yet that you're a superhero team in the area.
Hey, Moon, can
And-
you defuse bombs?
Depends on the bomb, honestly. I mean, explosives are not really my forte, but technology is technology. And if we can't, I mean, we are at the edge of the sea. Charlotte can just run it out onto the water, I guess. And I mean, the fish
I
don't care.
suppose.
Oh, hold on, fish do care. Bomb fishing is a thing.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Well, better the fish than the people.
yeah, but
If you run fast enough, you can maybe throw it very, very high from, like, just acceleration.
yeah, just throw it into the sun, or at least the upper atmosphere.
But what about the sun people who live on the sun?
What about airplanes that fly like the...
I think if you can live on the sun, a little bomb will not hurt you.
Oh no, it's our one weakness. Dynamite. We're poor, normal beings made from nuclear radiation who live on the sun, but we can't stand dynamite.
It's so weak in comparison to other things. It goes right past our defenses.
It hurts our chemical composition.
Julian, I know we did this when we first came to Riverside, but I would like a vibe check on the area. Specifically, if I find any sort of... I don't really know.
You don't get a... I'm just gonna tell you, like...
Can I
without-
scan for active mines?
Yeah, what I mean is you can't scan a lot. Like, unless your reach is really high, because there's been a bomb threat called. That's not just the building. The surrounding buildings have also been evacuated.
Okay.
So, just generally, no one really around. And in case you were looking for specifically, like, a villain or whatever, you also don't get any other, like, clear signs from the building itself.
So it seems like it's mostly empty, so at least, I mean, we can do collateral damage. At least there's no people that can get hurt.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you a chance to roll and unleash your powers on this.
Yeah, but because I think...
Just to extend your senses.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get something more.
Okay. Also, I assume that someone explained Monopoly to Moon on the way.
I would just like to add that Max has never played Monopoly because there's a game that's exactly like Monopoly in Dreamland, but it's not called that.
It's called Cartelopoly. is what
It's
called.
Cartelopoly.
Cartel City. That's a 5. I will just mark potential and you can tell me how incredibly wrong this gets. I'm just going to tell you one thing, just in case you need any ideas. Someone could notice. I was thinking about the it draws immediate unwanted attention thing. That could be a very interesting thing right now. You could...
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say something that happens. You try to feel around for someone close by, for someone in the area, and you get something. You get something very, very weak that comes from the factory building. You get, like, basically, you don't get clear emotions. You get something that you've at this point noticed with a couple other people before, which is you get what humans emit while they're dreaming.
Oh.
You get this very light outpour of emotion which usually to you feels like a slightly weird, weakened, condensed version of what the people felt throughout the day before.
Yeah. But just
And
muffled
you get a
and
very light
diffuse
pinch
and-
of fear. You get like light fear coming to you.
Someone in there is... I mean, there's someone inside and they're sleeping or dreaming and they're afraid. I think this could be Gale. Guys, we have to go in.
That's good news. Well, I should probably be the one to go in.
Then let's go. I'll be right behind you. Just slower.
No, let me check out the situation first, okay?
I think
Before
that's a bad
anyone else
idea.
comes in. Sorry?
I think that's a bad idea. You shouldn't go in alone.
But what if we trigger the bomb immediately when we go in?
Who said anything about
What
a
if
bomb?
they attack you and you're out?
Sorry?
Moon. That's the kind of downside I'm giving you for that failed roll.
Yeah.
It's you feel you need to act like now, like
Yeah,
really
that's
quick.
what I was getting that
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna wait until you scout the entire thing out. If Gale is in there and she's afraid, then we have to act now. I'm going in. If you want to come with me or not, that's your decision. But Charlotte, I'm not going to wait until you do your thing alone again, or worse, something happens to you and we stand here waiting for you to come back. And no, I'm going in there right now. And Moon starts marching towards the, I guess, whatever kind of entryway there is towards the factory.
There's multiple ones. There's like a big metal door that's also meant for like vehicles to get in and out, and there's like a regular employee entrance.
Okay.
Max follows Moon.
What?
I start speed running and take both of them over and enter
Oh,
the building.
Okay.
Charlotte starts
You run
speedrunning.
ahead.
What kind of games are you speedrunning? Do you have any world records yet?
Okay, I'm gonna have it. I'm just gonna describe what happens. Okay, Charlotte runs through the main entrance and actually comes across, notices once she's inside that this building isn't that dissimilar from your main base. Like, you get the feeling that a lot of the warehouses and factories here were kind of built in the same scheme, maybe by the same architect. And you run in, you run ahead, and as you get to like the center of the factory, there's two things you notice really quickly that are kind of weird. The first thing is, this thing was evacuated because of a bomb threat, but you notice that the factory is running. Like, there's a lot of machines that are still active, even though there's no one there anymore to supervise them. That's the first thing you notice. The second thing you notice as you run around like the hallways is that there's a big machine somewhere around the center of this factory that, from what you can see, seems to be some sort of press to put like the small figures for maybe Monopoly, maybe like similar games into shape. And on top of that machine, like haphazardly tied onto there, is Gale. And you notice that with the position she's currently in, she's slightly slipping closer and closer to the conveyor belt. She doesn't seem to be conscious. You definitely notice that her eyes are closed, and she doesn't seem to be doing anything about this slippage.
Okay, I scream, Gale is there, and point to her and run up to her.
Yeah, you can get up there pretty easily, and the others hear it from outside and run in. And you get up to Gale. She's tied there with like a rope, but it's not that thick. Like, that's very. You get the feeling that that's relatively easy to get off of her.
So I try to do that.
Yeah, you do. You basically rip it off, and she starts sliding down a little bit. But I'm gonna say it's not that hard for you to catch her. But something you do notice is when you basically remove her from where she was lying, you see that underneath her there were like a couple wires that you didn't notice in your haste tied together that her presence was basically keeping from touching. And now that she's gone away, these wires connect. And before you can really react, you hear a swishing noise. And you hear like a shudder go through the machine you're currently on.
And it explodes.
And the first thing you see is a tiny flame. You see a tiny flame down at the part where the plastic is pressed together.
Oh no.
It seems to be from some sort of heat valve that has overheated at exactly this moment. And it seems to be pretty easily fixable. Until you see the much bigger second flame on the other side of the machine. Right next to a large built-up pile of metal barrels right next to the machine. Seems to be catching a little bit of that fire coming out of the side, and the fire seems to be spreading between them. You only notice how these things happen in concession because of your super senses. And so you notice really quickly, that's flammable liquid, and it's about to explode.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
And that's where we end the episode.
No. No. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's perfect. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I love failed rolls.
Yeah. Now it's you arguing outside, Charlotte alone in the exploding building, and you guys are still out there. That's not how I thought this would go, but I'm really glad this is how
I
it
mean,
goes.
I started like speed walking towards that. So if this explodes,
So you're like at the entrance. Or
Yeah, you're like in the
something.
foyer maybe.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm still
definitely.
closest after like Charlotte and Gail too.
Yeah.
Well, now Moon and Max definitely have something to be angry.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah.
inter-team conflict.
Yeah, I feel like we're already pretty angry at you.
Yes, I know.
So good. All right. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks. Until then, we have social media. We have a Twitter, a Tumblr, an Instagram, and a TikTok. All of them at Waypoint Pod. Go there, check us out, write us a few messages. We've had someone live blog, like our first 2 episodes there recently. It's great. I love it.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And if you want to engage with us in any way, do it there. I'm also working on some, like, not amazing, but, like, I feel all right costume designs for the main cast right now. I'm going to post them to those once they're ready. And if you want to check that out, do it. If you want to send us pics of your pets, do it. If you want to tell us, hey, I actually enjoy this thing you're doing, absolutely do it. That makes my week. It makes all of our weeks.
Don't forget
Yes,
the email
definitely.
address.
Yeah, and don't forget the email address, waypointheroes at gmail.com. Also write us there if you're a fan who wants to write us something, or if you're a sponsor, because, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could make money off of this? I would
Or
love
if you
that.
don't have any social media, like, a smart person.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't interact with us in any of those places, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, you will hear from us anyways in 2 weeks through your podcasting app of choice. And until then, bye-bye.
Bye.